Hey, Kevin here from DIYDork.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make a wall-mounted picture or art hanger. It's really simple to make. It's actually really popular now too. I've seen them all over the place, and I thought I would give you a couple different options to show you that it can be made from all sorts of different things. Really simple, easy project. Check this out. Alright, so let me explain just real quick what we're doing so you have an idea of what I'll be showing you how to make. Alright, so it's basically a modern take on the old school maps, like the classroom maps. Remember, it was rolled up at the top and it had that weighted bar. You'd pull it down and you could see a map or whatever, and you'd pull it back up. It's kind of like that, and just a little bit lighter weight version for photographs, artwork, whatever. I didn't have any photographs that I needed to hang, so last night my wife and I made these little images just to have something fun to look at in the video. But basically what it's going to be is, I'll show you different materials, but here's one of them. It's going to be wood, and we'll clamp it at the bottom of the image, 2 pieces there, and then also the same thing at the top, clamped up there. And then the top will have a way to hang it. And that's really essentially what it is, but I'll show you a couple of different materials and different ways to make it and things like that. It's actually really popular right now. I've seen them all over the place, and I guess they're kind of building up steam, so I thought I'd show you my interpretation on them. Alright, let me give you a couple of material ideas of how you can make the frame. Now, of course, the really easy way to go is just straight up wood. This is actually pine 2x4s that I've cut down. I've used on a bunch of my other projects. If you've seen those, I've used them for like slatted tops. But this is about as clean as you can get. There's not a lot of grain to it. And I cut them pretty thin, but really you can make them as thick as you want and as wide as you want this way. And of course the width to be determined on your artwork piece. Now you also want to think about, you know, if you have a little piece of artwork, you probably don't want like a really wide piece of wood. Now maybe it would look awesome, but you kind of want to think about proportions. But you know, something like this will work real simple, and you're going to need 2 pieces. This is about 1/4 inch thick. It's perfect for the front. For the back piece, I would probably go a little thicker. I'll show you why in a minute. But I just want to show you really simple wood there. Alright, now I also have some pallet wood, and I think I'm actually going to be using this. I like the grain on it. It's got that kind of raw look to it, even though it's sanded smooth a little bit. The back is like definitely super raw. And see how this is a little bit thicker than the old pieces? That would actually be a perfect combo right there. This would be the front and that would be the back. That way when you sink screws in there, they don't poke out the back. Alright, so we got pine, got some pallet wood. Another thing you can do is like a, what is this, about a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch thick piece of plywood, just because it has a really cool grain, and that could be really interesting looking. Another one, a lot of people don't like this material, but I always thought it was really cool, OSB, basically, you know, wafer board, chipboard, and cut it to whatever width you need. I think this is about a 1/2 inch piece. I probably wouldn't go any thicker than that. I wouldn't do any like 3/4 inch boards, but 1/2 inch and thinner I think would look okay. And basically you just want to round off the edges with the sander, smooth it out, maybe put a finish on there or furniture wax or something like that. I think that'd look really cool too. It'd add a lot of texture. So it really just kind of depends, you know, what you want to do. Now I have a couple other ideas that I just found at the store when I was getting supplies for this. One of them, perfect for back to school season, is just a straight up ruler. And I'll actually use this for one of mine. I went ahead and got the wood ruler because it's a little sturdier. You also don't want anything too thin that's like flexible. I noticed most of the plastic rulers were just, I mean, you could practically roll them up. They were so thin and flimsy. So you want something that's sturdy enough that whenever you clamp it or screw it down, it'll actually hold its shape. Alright, and then here's another idea, kind of the same thing, but I found this for free at the store. That Menards had a rebate where I bought it and sent in a rebate and got it for free. It's a stainless steel yardstick. It has a nice weight to it. It's really thin, so when I use it, I'll use a thicker piece like that in the back, and then the artwork will clamp in between. And then my board in the back, I think I forgot to explain this, but it would be the same width as whatever you're using up front. So this yardstick here is, I don't know, 1 inch or 1.25 inches. So whenever I cut this down, I'll cut it down to like 1.25 inches. So, you know, real general idea there. I mean, you can use plastic, any kind of recycled material, anything that just, you know, is pretty sturdy and holds on its own. It's not too flimsy. So that way when it clamps down, it'll hold your artwork. So you can use whatever you want. Alright, so to save time, I went ahead and cut all of my bars to size to match all the little pictures I'm going to hang up. But real simple, just took the wood, chopped it to length. I did a real quick sanding job just to smooth it out a little bit. And then that was pretty much it. Now on the one that I'm using, the metal ruler, as you can see, I chopped down that yardstick using a pair of tin snips to 2 1-foot sections, all right? And then I pre-drilled holes right here in the center, and it was real handy dandy with these measurements. I was able to make them totally even. And then I took this ruler and I clamped it onto this board, and then I pre-drilled holes in the wood also, so that when I screw it in, the screws won't split the wood and they'll go in real nice and easy. Alright, so then you can see here I have the screws. I went ahead and I put them in through the face, just to give it kind of that, industrial tech look to it. I think they're 1/2-inch screws, so they don't poke out the back, but they go in through the wood most of the way. Alright, now on the one that I decided to do all wood, oh, and I should also mention that, I think I pointed out earlier, but I wanted the wood to be kind of thick in the back, so I just used the wood I showed earlier that was from the pallets. That's what I used for all the backing plates of this. This one is totally pallet wood. 2 1/2-inch pieces, probably a little thick, maybe a little thinner would be okay. But if you notice here, I have them clamped together, or screwed together through the back, so that way it don't poke through if you want a nice clean look. Real simple as well. Did the same thing, pre-drilled, popped some screws in there, and these are a little bit longer screws. They're not 1/2-inch. I think they're like 3/4 inch or something like that, so they don't poke through. Alright, and then the wooden roller was the same thing. I cut it down to the length I needed, and then the cool thing about this roller is it already had 2 holes in the front, so all I had to do was clamp this little ruler on top of this piece of wood, pre-drill the holes, the little skinny bit here, and then set my screws in. That's pretty much it. Now I'll go ahead, and I got to show you how I'm going to add the artwork inside. I did a couple of different options there, and then I'll also show you a couple of different options of how to hang these. Alright, now I want to show you a couple of ways to actually hang the frame onto your artwork or your picture, or whatever you're trying to do. On this black piece right here, I have such a big border that it doesn't matter if a little bit gets covered up by the hanger here. So what I did was I put on my ruler, but I have the screws a little bit loose so that my paper will actually slide in it. Alright, as you can see, it's in about that much, so it covers up, was that maybe a 1/2 inch or so, not really too big a deal. So then I can just tighten up the screws. They'd be clamped on there real nice, put one on the bottom, and I'll add my hanger and all that later, and this one would be ready to go. Alright, but if I did that to this one, it would cover up some of my artwork, and you see what I mean? It would cover up some of my little spokes there, and I don't want that. So what I did was I added the little extensions here. Now I did them bright green just so you can see the difference, but it's the same paper as I made everything else. I actually glued and then taped them onto the back. I think I made it about 3 inches long, so it has about a 1-inch overhang. And that way my wood clamps I'm going to hang on this one will clamp on there. And I made it 1 inch long, so what's going to happen is these screws are actually going to go through it too. Just it's not pure clamping, it'd be clamping, and it actually pokes a hole through there for extra strength. So then let's take these apart, line it up, and then put it on there, and then my little hanger, my little tab on the bottom will disappear, but my artwork won't be covered up. So I'll do that as well. Alright, now one more thing is, if you notice, this one I cut to 12 inches. Well, that's what my cardstock was, 12 inches. So this one is an exact fit. It's just edge to edge. Alright, on this one right here, I decided to make my frame a little wide just to see what that looks like. So it overhangs a 1/2 inch on each side, as you can see here, just to give it a little different look. And then on my little one here that I actually have already got put together, I decided to go just a little short just to see what that looks like as well. You can kind of see how these hang. Real simple, nice and sturdy, and then we'll add hangers to the back. So I'll go ahead and attach everything on here, and then I'll show you how to put the hangers on with string or chain or whatever you want. Alright, now real quick, I just want to show you a couple ways to add your hanger to the back. First off here, I have some paracord I thought looked really cool. Kind of had a vintage camper look to it. I just took my staple gun, and it's not pretty, but I stapled it on there, and it works great. So now we have a really cool hanger to hang it on the wall. Alright, and then another way, just to add a little interest, I added these little screw eye hooks to the wood frame, just mounted them on top. I got some chain here, and I got some small chain that's easy to bend. I opened it up with needle nose pliers, just took it around there, clamp it on nice and tight so it don't come loose. Now, we have a really cool chain hanger. Very, very simple as well. So now I'll just show you what they all look like finished up. All right, and here they are all finished. Turned out really, really cool. Like I mentioned before, they're getting really popular and picking up some steam now. So if you want to get ahead of the game and try to make your own, I thought I'd help you out here. So again, I'll just kind of go over it real quick. Got the wood frame with hidden fasteners. That's a little bit wider than the artwork or photo that you want to hang. And I put metal screw eye hooks and a metal chain on there. Give you a little option if you want something kind of industrial looking like that. Over here we have the blue paracord that has a little bit of white speckle to it. I have school ruler, and then I made this a little narrower than the artwork. I thought that'd be kind of interesting. And this one has exposed screws. Also, I don't think I showed you before, but this paper has little speckles in it. I thought that was really cool. And then my wife hand cut all these arrows. She did these really quick too. I was impressed. I was like getting this one put together, and she had this one done already. All right, and then over here we have the red paracord with the pallet wood. Actually, all of these are pallet wood in the back, with the stainless yardstick that I chopped down with exposed screws. And this one is exact width. So give you a couple ideas if you want to make these for yourself. Turned out really cool. Very, very simple project.